I spent 3 days tracking down what the FBI actually has in their files about Sasquatch, and what I found wasn't just disappointing. It completely changed how I see these viral, leaked footage videos that rack up millions of views. The real conspiracy isn't about hairy creatures hiding in the woods. It's about something far more calculated that's happening right now, manipulating exactly what you clicked on to get here. So here's what I need you to ask yourself. If there's no actual FBI Sasquatch footage, then who's creating all these leaked videos? Why are they so desperate for you to believe they're real, and what are they really profiting from your curiosity? I was scrolling through my phone at 2 in the morning when I saw it. The video thumbnail showed a dark forest with a red circle around something that looked like a massive figure standing between the trees. The title screamed at me in all capital letters. California FBI's final footage of terrifying Sasquatch. Federal agents did not want this leaked. My thumb hovered over the screen for just a second before I tapped it. The video started playing and my heart rate picked up even though I was sitting safe in my bed. The footage was grainy and shaky like someone filmed it while running. Trees whipped past the camera. Heavy breathing filled my headphones. Then, the camera stopped moving and zoomed in on something brown and tall moving through the shadows. The narrator's voice was low and serious. He said federal agents had kept this video hidden for 40 years. He said it was the most important cryptid evidence ever captured. He said powerful people wanted to keep us in the dark about what really lives in our forests. I watched the whole thing twice before I finally put my phone down. That video had 3 million views. The comments section was on fire. Hundreds of people swore they had seen similar creatures near their homes. Others shared links to different videos showing more alleged Sasquatch footage. Some people argued back and forth about whether the video was real or fake, but most people just seemed excited. They seemed thrilled by the possibility that something unknown and powerful was out there hiding from us. I understood that feeling completely because I felt it too. The next morning, I started looking for more information. I typed FBI Sasquatch into my search bar and dozens of videos popped up. Each one claimed to have exclusive footage. Each one promised to reveal secrets the government did not want us to know. The thumbnails all looked similar with their dark forests and mysterious shapes and red circles drawing my eyes to blurry figures. Some videos claimed the footage came from California. Others said Washington or Oregon or even Canada. But they all had the same basic setup. Grainy video, dramatic music, a narrator speaking in hushed tones about cover-ups and conspiracies. I clicked on another video. This one started with an old film that looked like it came from the 1970s. The quality was terrible with lines running through the picture and colors that seemed faded and wrong. A figure walked across a clearing in the footage. It was covered in dark hair and swung its arms as it moved. The narrator explained that FBI agents had filmed this creature during a secret expedition into the Pacific Northwest. He said the agents were tracking reports of missing hikers. He said what they found changed everything they thought they knew about wildlife in America. The video had 5 million views. I kept searching and found that this pattern repeated everywhere. Every video followed the same formula. They all started with some kind of shocking claim about government involvement. They all promised exclusive, or leaked, or never-before-seen footage. They all showed dark, blurry images that could have been almost anything if you squinted at them the right way. And they all had those views. Millions and millions of views. People were eating this content up like candy. Something felt off to me, though. If the FBI really had clear footage of Sasquatch, why would they keep it secret? What would be the point? And if they wanted it kept secret, how did all these videos end up on the internet? How did so many different people get access to supposedly classified government files? The more I thought about it, the less sense it made. But I kept watching anyway because part of me wanted it to be real. I decided to look up what the FBI actually says about Sasquatch. I went to their official website and searched their public records. What I found was not what I expected. There was indeed one FBI file about Bigfoot, but it was not dramatic footage or secret expeditions. It was a simple letter from 1976. A man who researched Sasquatch had sent the FBI some hair samples. He wanted them to test the hair to see if it came from an unknown primate. The FBI agreed to help. They ran tests on the hair. The results came back showing it was deer hair. That was it. That was the entire FBI Sasquatch file. One letter, one hair test, deer. But this did not match what the videos were telling me at all. Those videos made it sound like the FBI had teams of agents hunting for Bigfoot in the woods. They made it sound like there were warehouses full of evidence and footage. They made it sound like a massive conspiracy was hiding the truth from regular people like me. Yet the actual FBI records showed nothing like that. Just one polite response to a research request that turned out to be about deer hair. I sat back in my chair and stared at my screen. The video I had watched at 2 in the morning was still open in another tab. I could see the view counter had gone up by another 50,000 since I first clicked it. 50,000 more people had watched that grainy footage and believed they were seeing something the government did not want them to know about. 50,000 more people had their pattern recognition systems triggered by shadows and shapes moving through trees. 50,000 more people had felt that exciting rush of thinking they were in on a secret. I realized then that I needed to dig deeper. These videos were not just random posts from confused people who saw something weird in the woods. They were carefully made. They had professional editing and dramatic music and scripts that hit specific emotional buttons. Someone was making these videos on purpose, and they were making a lot of them. The question that burned in my mind was simple, but huge. Why? I started keeping a spreadsheet. Every video I found that claimed to show FBI Sasquatch footage went into my list. I wrote down the channel name, the view count, how long the video was, and when it was posted. After just 2 hours of searching, I had 43 videos in my spreadsheet. After a full day, I had over 200. The numbers started to tell a story that made my stomach feel tight and uncomfortable. Most of these videos were posted in the last 3 years. They came from channels that had names like Cryptid Truth Network and Hidden Reality Files and Government Secrets Exposed. When I clicked on these channel pages, I saw they posted new videos almost every single day. Not just about Sasquatch either. They covered aliens and ghosts and lake monsters and conspiracy theories about everything you could imagine. Each video had thumbnails designed exactly the same way with bright colors and shocked faces and those red circles pointing at blurry things. The view counts were huge. Some channels had hundreds of millions of total views across all their videos. I picked one channel and started watching their Sasquatch videos in order from oldest to newest. The first video they posted about Bigfoot was short and simple. It just showed some footprints in mud and asked questions about what could have made them. That video got 50,000 views. Their next Sasquatch video added dramatic music and a narrator speaking in a mysterious voice. That one got 200,000 views. The third video claimed to have leaked government footage. It got 1.3 million views. I could see the pattern clear as day. The more dramatic and urgent and secret the video claimed to be, the more views it received. So the channels learned. They figured out the formula: government plus leaked plus terrifying plus exclusive equals millions of views. And millions of views equals money. I did the math based on what I knew about ad revenue from videos. A video with 3 million views could make somewhere between $3,000 and $15,000 depending on how many ads played. These channels were pumping out multiple videos per week. Some posted one every single day. The money was adding up fast. But where was the actual footage coming from? I started looking closer at the videos themselves. I paused them and went frame by frame through the parts that supposedly showed Sasquatch. What I saw made everything click into place in a way that felt almost silly. In one video, the creature moved in a way that looked exactly like a person in a costume. The arms swung too evenly, the head turned too smoothly. In another video, I could actually see what looked like a zipper running down the back of the dark shape. In a third video, the Sasquatch was clearly just a person wearing a gorilla suit you could buy at any costume shop. The suit even had the same wrinkles and proportions I had seen in party stores around Halloween. Some videos did not even use costumes. They just showed regular bears or elk moving through distant trees. The footage was zoomed in so far and compressed so badly that the animals looked like mysterious blobs. Our brains want to see patterns and faces in everything. That is how humans survived for thousands of years. We got really good at spotting threats in shadows and bushes. These videos were taking advantage of that built-in system. They showed us blurry brown shapes in forests, and our pattern-seeking brains filled in the rest. We saw what we wanted to see. Other videos used even simpler tricks. I found one that claimed to show FBI thermal footage of Sasquatch at night. But when I looked carefully, I could see the thermal image was just a screenshot from a video game. I knew this because I had played that exact game before. Another video used footage that I tracked down to a commercial for beef jerky from 2012. The commercial had shown a fake Sasquatch as a joke. But this YouTube channel had cut out the funny parts and presented it as real, leaked evidence. They were literally using clips from advertisements and calling them secret government files. The really disturbing part was finding the same footage used over and over again by different channels. One shaky video of something walking through trees showed up in at least 15 different videos I found. Each channel claimed it was exclusive. Each one said they had received it from a secret source. Each one acted like they were the only people brave enough to share it. But it was the exact same clip every single time. Someone had filmed it once, probably as a hoax, and now dozens of channels were recycling it and claiming it was their own exclusive leak. I went back to that FBI file I had found on the official website. I read it again more carefully this time. The letter was dated 1976. A man named Peter Byrne ran something called the Bigfoot Information Center. He wrote to the FBI asking if they would examine some hair samples. He wanted scientific analysis to help his research. The FBI wrote back and said, sure, they would help. They tested the hair in their lab. The results showed the hair came from the deer family. It was not from a primate at all. The FBI sent the results back to Peter Byrne. Then they closed the file. That was the complete, total extent of FBI involvement with the Sasquatch investigation. There were no expeditions, no secret teams, no hidden footage, no cover-up. Just one simple favor for a researcher that turned out to show nothing unusual at all. But the videos I had been watching made it sound like the FBI had entire departments devoted to tracking cryptids. They invented drama where none existed. They created mystery out of thin air. I realized these video makers were not confused or mistaken. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were running a business. The product they sold was excitement and mystery, and the feeling of being in on a secret. The formula worked because it pushed buttons in our brains that felt good to push. We want to believe in hidden worlds. We want to think we are smart enough to see through government lies. We want magic and monsters to be real. These channels gave us that feeling even though they were feeding us nothing but recycled costumes and misidentified animals and straight-up lies. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe. I don't want you missing out on tomorrow's new Bigfoot story. Thanks for watching. I could not stop thinking about why I had clicked on that first video. It was 2 in the morning and I was tired, but I still tapped that thumbnail without even questioning it. Something about the combination of words and images had reached past my logical brain and grabbed hold of something deeper. I wanted to understand what that something was and why it had so much power over me. I started paying attention to how I felt when I watched these videos. My heart beat faster, even though I was just sitting still. My eyes stayed glued to the screen even when the footage showed nothing but trees and shadows. When the narrator said the word leaked, my chest got tight with excitement. When he mentioned the FBI, my brain told me this must be important and real. I felt like I was getting access to information that other people did not have. It made me feel special and informed, and just a little bit rebellious. These feelings were strong, and they happened automatically without me choosing them. I did some research about how our brains work, and what I learned explained everything. Humans evolved over millions of years to be really good at spotting danger. If our ancestors heard a rustle in the bushes, they had two choices. They could assume it was just wind and ignore it, or they could assume it was a tiger and run away. The ones who assumed danger lived longer and had more kids. So our brains got wired to see threats and patterns everywhere, even when those threats are not really there. Scientists call this pareidolia. It means seeing familiar shapes in random stuff, like seeing faces in clouds or a man on the moon. Our brains are pattern-making machines that never turn off. These Sasquatch videos worked because they triggered that ancient warning system. Dark forests equal potential danger. Large shapes moving in shadows equal possible threat. Grainy footage equal uncertainty, which makes our brains work harder to figure out what we are seeing. And when we work harder to understand something, we become more invested in it. We start to believe our own interpretations. I had felt all of this happening in my body as I watched. My shoulders had tensed up. My breathing had gotten shallow. My eyes had narrowed as I tried to make sense of blurry pixels. My brain was doing exactly what millions of years of evolution had trained it to do. But there was something else happening too. Something about the mystery itself felt good. I thought about how boring my regular life could feel sometimes. I went to work and came home and scrolled through my phone and went to sleep. Most days felt exactly the same as the day before. Nothing surprising or magical ever seemed to happen. The world felt completely mapped and measured and understood. Every inch of land had been photographed by satellites. Every animal had been cataloged by scientists. There were no blank spaces left on maps, no terra incognita, no places where anything truly unknown could hide. Except maybe there were. That was what these videos promised. They said that even in our modern world, with all our technology and knowledge, there were still mysteries lurking just beyond our sight. They said the forests held secrets. They said powerful people knew things we did not know. They said magic was still possible if you just knew where to look. This promise felt like cool water on a hot day. It felt necessary somehow, like my brain needed to believe that wonder still existed. I caught myself doing something strange one evening. I was watching another Sasquatch video, and I noticed my hand was gripping my phone tighter than normal. My jaw was clenched. I was leaning forward toward my screen. Part of me knew the video was probably fake. I'd already seen the patterns and tricks these channels used, but another part of me desperately wanted it to be real anyway. I wanted that blurry shape to be an actual, unknown creature. I wanted the government to actually be hiding something. I wanted my boring, predictable world to have hidden doors that opened onto stranger and more magical places. This want was so strong it almost hurt. I realized that every time I clicked on one of these videos, I was not really looking for the truth. I was looking for that feeling, that flutter in my chest, that sense that maybe, just maybe, the world was bigger and weirder than I thought. The videos delivered that feeling for free with just one click. No wonder they got so many views. No wonder people shared them and argued about them and came back for more. We were all chasing the same emotional high. I started noticing how this affected my thinking in other areas too. After watching a bunch of Sasquatch videos, I found myself being more suspicious of official explanations for things. When the news reported something, I caught myself wondering what they were not telling us. When experts said something was impossible, I found myself thinking, but what if they are wrong? The videos had planted seeds of distrust in my mind. They had trained me to assume that authorities were lying and that real truth only came from people brave enough to leak it on YouTube. This scared me when I realized it. These videos were not just entertainment. They were changing how I processed information. They were making me worse at telling the difference between real evidence and made-up stories. They were teaching me to value exciting claims over boring facts. And I had let this happen because the videos made me feel things I wanted to feel. The excitement was like a drug, and I had gotten hooked without even noticing. I thought about all those millions of other people watching these same videos. Were they feeling what I felt? Were they also getting their sense of reality slowly twisted by channels that just wanted ad revenue? How many people were out there right now believing they had seen real FBI footage when all they had really seen was a person in a cheap costume? How many people were making important decisions about who to trust and what to believe based on feelings these videos had deliberately created in them? The number must be huge. And that realization made everything feel much more serious than just some silly Sasquatch videos. I started looking at the bigger picture, and what I found made the Sasquatch videos seem like just one small piece of something much larger. These same channels that posted fake cryptid footage also posted videos about election fraud and miracle cures and celebrity conspiracies and basically any topic that got people emotional and clicking. The pattern was identical every time. Make a shocking claim. Say authorities are hiding the truth. Show some kind of evidence that looks real if you do not look too closely. Add urgent music and a serious narrator. Watch the views roll in. I pulled up my spreadsheet again and added more columns. I tracked how many total subscribers these channels had. I calculated rough estimates of their annual revenue based on their view counts and typical ad rates. The numbers made my hands shake a little bit as I typed them. The top 10 channels I had found were probably making somewhere between $500,000 and $2 million per year, each, just from posting videos they knew were misleading or fake. They had turned lying into a full-time profitable career, but the money was only part of what they were getting. I noticed that several of these channels had links to online stores where they sold merchandise. T-shirts that said things like, "Question everything, and they do not want you to know." Coffee mugs with blurry Sasquatch images. Books about conspiracy theories. Some channels had paid membership programs where you could give them money every month to see exclusive content. Others sold courses teaching people how to research hidden truths. The videos were not the product. We were the product. Our attention and our clicks and our willingness to believe were being harvested and sold. I went down another rabbit hole looking at who owned these channels. Some were run by single people working from home who had figured out the formula, but others were part of bigger networks. Companies that owned dozens or even hundreds of channels all posted similar content. These companies had found a gap in how the internet works. They discovered that our brains have weaknesses, and those weaknesses could be exploited for profit. It was not personal. It was just business. They were selling us stories we wanted to hear, and we were buying them with our time and attention. The really clever part was how they used words like FBI and leaked and exclusive. These words carried weight. They borrowed credibility from real institutions. When someone hears the FBI, they think of serious people with badges doing important investigations. When someone hears leaked, they think of brave whistleblowers risking everything to share the truth. The video makers were stealing that credibility and using it to make their fake content seem more real. They were taking the trust we had in actual authorities and redirecting it toward their monetized lies. I thought about all the real science that gets ignored while these videos rack up millions of views. Actual wildlife biologists spend years in forests studying real animals. They make genuine discoveries about how ecosystems work and how species adapt. Their papers and documentaries get a few thousand views if they are lucky. But a video showing someone in a gorilla suit gets millions of views in a week. The fake stuff was drowning out the real stuff. And it was doing this because the fake stuff was designed to hijack our emotions while real science just offered us facts. This made me think about what happens to a society when millions of people cannot tell the difference between real evidence and made-up stories. When people lose the ability to judge what is true, they start making decisions based on feelings instead of facts. They vote for leaders who tell them comfortable lies instead of difficult truths. They refuse medicine that works because someone on the internet said it was a conspiracy. They send money to scammers who promise secret knowledge. The Sasquatch videos seemed silly on the surface, but they were training people to be bad at thinking clearly. And that training had consequences that spread far beyond whether Bigfoot was real or not. I looked at the comments on these videos again with new eyes. People were not just saying they believed in Sasquatch. They were saying they no longer trusted scientists or government or media or experts of any kind. They were saying the only truth came from independent researchers on YouTube. They were building entire worldviews on foundations made of costume footage and misidentified bears. And the video makers were encouraging this because confused, angry people click on more videos than calm, informed people do. The question that kept bothering me was whether the people making these videos actually believed what they were posting. I wanted to think they were just confused or mistaken, but the evidence said otherwise. They used the same footage over and over while claiming each time it was exclusive. They edited out the parts where you could see zippers and costume seams. They wrote scripts that carefully pushed emotional buttons. This was not confusion. This was manipulation. These people had figured out that truth did not matter as much as engagement. They had learned that a good lie, told urgently, was worth more money than a boring fact told carefully. I finally understood what I was really looking at. This was not about Sasquatch at all. Sasquatch was just the hook, the bait, the thing that got people to click. What these channels were really selling was the feeling that you were smarter than everyone else, that you could see through the lies that fooled other people, that you had access to hidden knowledge that the powerful wanted to suppress. This feeling was addictive because it made people feel special and important and awake while everyone else slept. And once people got hooked on that feeling, they kept coming back for more videos, more merchandise, more paid memberships, more content that confirmed they were right to distrust everything. The truth was simple and disappointing. There was no FBI Sasquatch footage. There never had been. The only thing the FBI ever did related to Bigfoot was test some deer hair in 1976. But admitting this meant admitting the world was exactly as boring and mapped and understood as it seemed. It meant accepting that the forests held no magic monsters, that no one was hiding amazing secrets, that reality was just reality with no hidden doors to walk through. For a lot of people, including me, that admission felt like losing something important. So we clicked on the videos instead. We chose the comfortable lie over the disappointing truth, and the video makers got rich selling us our own willingness to be fooled.